Welcome back to Chat with Hadi. Welcome, guys. How are you doing? How are you doing this lovely February, this weekend of love? How are you guys doing? How is everything? Welcome back to Chat with Ade. I'm your host, Ade T. Ladende. And today we're going to be talking about love. We're going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about being single and loving it and enjoying every moment of it. While we take a few seconds, I want you guys to put in the comment section where you're watching us from. Let us know how your weekend is going. And don't forget to click the share button. Let's get more people into this platform. Thank you. Yes. Welcome back. So for those who are new to the channel, we don't just talk in this channel. We have conversations. So we welcome you to put your questions on the comment section. We're going to be displaying it at the bottom of the screen. We welcome you to add your 2 cents because hey, one person can't have all the answers, right? So we want you guys to put in as much questions and much 2 cents as you have in the comment section. And don't forget to follow my Instagram page, which is Ade_babes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Adebatsi TV. If you're watching already, just click that red rectangle button. Click that red rectangle button, subscribe. Please click the bell button so that you'll be one of the VIPs when we come online or when we shoot out any content. And please leave a comment, say something, press the like button because it helps us get more followers in the future, which of course helps the channel. And don't forget, if you do want to donate to our channel, we would appreciate every cent you got. The link is on the bottom of on the top of the screen. Also on the bottom, you would have a link there that would say to sponsor, to donate. Kindly make a use of it if you would like to support us. And yes, so today we're definitely going to be talking about love. We're going to be talking about married, being single, and just being in a relationship period, because we all know, of course, that this is February is the month of love. Well, every day should be the month of love, either for yourself, your spouse, your children, anybody. It's a month of love every day of the year. But we know February, Valentine's Day, the weekend, the week is always, special, a little bit special than the rest. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, so that's what we're going to be talking to two well educated. They have a lot of years under their belt of experience, practical, and when it comes to educational, they've got the experience. So we decided we're going to have a male and a female because it's not complete if we just have me talking, or if we just have me and a male speaker or me and a female speaker. We're definitely going to be what do you call it, putting a window out there to the other gender. So we definitely had to have both sexes talking about relationship, because relationship is, as we know, is between a man and a woman. If you're watching, don't forget to say hello to us in the comment section and click the share button. Let's get more people into this platform. Yes. And if you can hear me well, you can see me well, please let me know. If there's any glitch somewhere, let us know so that we can make any amendments as soon as possible. Thank you so much. So while bringing in our guests, I am definitely going to be introducing them one at a time. So let's bring in Reverend Barista. Okay, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing the name properly. Oh, what happened to our Reverend? I think network, he must have disappeared a little bit. Okay. So, while the Reverend is trying to get back onto the platform, let's bring in our pharmacist, our beautiful woman, Mrs. Rosemary Ehimwa. Hey, I hope I pronounced that name properly. Ehimwa. Did I pronounce it well?
Yes, I hear more. It's okay.
Ehimwa. Okay, I tried. I always try not to bash people's names. Oh boy. So Mrs. Rosemary, she has a lot of experience. She has a lot of educational experience. Oh boy. And then also when it comes to relationship, when it comes to marriage, she has a lot under her belt, and we say kudos to that. So let me just read a little bit about her. She's a general manager at Rosewin Enterprise in London, Ontario. So she's based and speaking to us, I believe, out of London, Ontario. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. So she's the CEO and founder of Black Community Employment and Empowerment Services for the City of London and in the area. Also for the youth and sports, she's also a youth and sports director in the African Canadian Federation of London and area. She has almost 40 years, and almost 40 years meaning that experience, period. So she's been with her spouse, I believe, for 40 years, but they've been married for 30. Like, that is so awesome. She's a two-time graduate of University of Benin, Stellenbosch University in South Africa, and Westernveld College, London, Ontario, and so much. You guys, we couldn't say it all because she has so much experience and so much educational background. So we want to say welcome, 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 Mrs. Rosemary Ehimwa. Hey, she's a pharmacist. Yes, so it's not a small thing. It's not easy. I know we all know it's not easy. So let us also now bring in Barista. He is back. He is back. He's back. We thought we lost you there for a minute. Welcome
Yeah,
back,
you
sir.
did. I'm not sure what I touched. I wanted to say hello in the chat, and I'm not sure
Oh,
what my fingers touched, and suddenly I disappeared
took
from
you
the screen.
out.
Good to see you, Mrs. Ehimwa.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Okay, so let me just introduce our Reverend, our barrister, Kennedy Esseg. Oh boy, Essegim. Did I pronounce it? Essegim or Essejimmy? Hey,
The best way to attempt it is to say, I say, give me. I say, give me. I
I
say,
said give
give me.
me. Hey, I said give me. That is beautiful. I like that. It makes it easier for people like us that can't pronounce properly. Yeah, so Mr. Asegime is a lawyer, a professional relationship and marriage counselor, author of two books and 20 years of marital bliss, president and founder of Ken Esegime Faith and Family Ministries in Canada, with a vision to partner with churches, communities, and corporate organizations for the empowerment of marriages. Kudos. Educated in Stockholm, Sweden, Benin City, and Jos, Nigeria. You see, you guys, we are like well endowed. We have well endowed guests. So there's no pasha anywhere. When it comes to education, they are there. They get it. When it comes to relationship, they are there. So you guys, kudos now, kudos. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome again to our platform. We are so honored to have both of you here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for taking your time out. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time because we do know both of you are we are very busy, and and especially during this month of February. Oh boy, it's the shortest month of the year, but so much is going on. So we just want to say thank you once again for being part of us and adding levels to our
Thank
channel.
you for having me.
Thank
Oh
you for
yes,
having me too.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
My
Yes, yes,
pleasure.
yes. Okay, so as we both know, and as we all know, because it's not just me here, we know February is the month of love, and we know relationship is something that every human being has. Doesn't matter if it's with a man or with a woman or with their children, parents. The relationship is something that we all even we earn to have. If we don't, or we're struggling to have it. And I believe as a coach and someone who is also well experienced in it, you both have a lot to say. And given our time, we'll of course try to minimize, but just get to the points of what relationship, what marriage is, and what enjoying being single is. And just also not just that, but also being able to not forget that in a relationship or in marriage or even being single as a human being, period, it's ordained by God for you to be in relationship with one another. So who would like to go first?
You pick.
A
Okay.
man is the head of the house, so let him go first.
They
All
said the man
right.
is the head of the house.
I will oblige Sister Humor. Thank you for the privilege of having me go first. It's an
Okay.
honor to be here. And just a little correction, my marriage will be 23 years this year. And then there's a little surprise. Valentine's Day is my birthday. Okay.
This is finding that out. So happy birthday in advance. Oh, that is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. Two in one. Cha cha.
Thank and Ade, you had almost gotten into the first paragraph of what I wanted to say here today, but I'll still go ahead and say it in my own words. And that is, we are created to be relational beings.
Mm.
That is the design that God gave us by nature. So we yearn for relationships both vertically with God, with an almighty, no matter the name that you go by, and horizontally with human beings, whether with our peers, with parents, or with our children. However, both vertically and horizontally, man is created to yearn for relationships. And I think it's a deliberate design by God. We are the only ones out of the animals he created on the sixth day that he did not create in pairs. The other animals are created in pairs. A son of a particular breed of an animal today can become the father to the children of that mother tomorrow. So the son can climb on his mother at a future date and father the children that will come from that same mother. But with us, God made man, and then out of man, he pulled out the woman, saying it's not good that the man should be alone. And I've come to learn the value of that statement now that I live separated from my family. I'm in Canada, my wife and the girls are in Nigeria, and I've come to learn that there is a great value to companionship. So that statement is not just epitomical of being married, but that you need a network of relationships to live successfully as a human being. There's no amount of success financially, whether in the place of power or fame, that can fill that void. So once we recognize that we are designed for relationships, we will take relationship matters very seriously. Point number two is this, that you were not designed to satisfy everybody. No one of us is designed to be able to satisfy everybody. Therefore, everybody is not good for you. You are not good for everybody. The assignment in your life as a mature adult is to look for your type and find your size. Look for your type and then find your size. My wife is pleasantly plump. She's never been slim all her life. As a little girl of 3, 4, she was always that teddy bear, chubby in the house. When the father wants to brag, you say, call me Tinuke, let the world know that I'm feeding my children very well. All these tiny, tiny ones, they don't show my prosperity. When I met her in her law school times, sincerely, in her black and white outfit, I thought she looked like a penguin, just moving like that. And she led the choir to sing. I was invited to preach that day, but that little penguin in black and white just caught my eyes, And interestingly, when I was done preaching, at the close of the fellowship, a lot of people came around to say, you did a good job. But suddenly I see this penguin girl coming, and then she reaches out her hand to tell me, Brother Kennedy, that was good preaching. I'm not sure why it happened, but it happened. I held on to her hand longer than every other handshake. I held on to say, thank you very much. Thank you. But what's your name? I held on to the hand. The next time they invited me over, I kept looking for that penguin girl. And then I asked the president, they said, no, she's sick. I said, go call her. Tell her that Pastor Ken is around. She's going to get healed. I was so bodacious, like, I like this girl so much that Satan cannot stop her from seeing me tonight. And that was the beginning of the 23-year marital journey. But you see, she is plump. She's always been plump. She remains plump. And I keep saying to her, I could have sold my father's house just to be with an honorable girl. Hallelujah to Jesus Christ. And that's simply because by my making, I know I'm not designed to satisfy everybody. And everybody is not meant for me. I'm slim. I've been slim all my life. I'm one of those kids that the parents, your mother will beat you to eat. Others are praying for food, but your mother will beat you to eat. I was one of those. Till date, my wife has to give me supplements to improve on my appetite. So I love the fat woman that I'm married to. I popularly say to people that God knew that a tangerine would not have satisfied my destiny. Orange would not have sufficed. As a matter of fact, a grapefruit would have just let me halfway and dumped me. God knew only watermelon would suffice. So it was my full body, full engine. I leave you to decipher what all of that is. Anyway, the point to be made is this, that you are not meant for everybody. Everybody is not meant for you. So your assignment as a mature adult is to decipher your type and then go for your size. And then also understand that there are people with closed lives. So that if you don't succeed with them in a relationship, don't allow that failure to rebrand you or change your estimation of your capacity to love. I can't stress this more than enough. There are people whose hearts and whose love lives, whose love capabilities have been shut down and closed down by previous experiences. Either somebody they met or a situation that they fell into shut them down. And because they could not let go of that past, they continue to punish everybody in their present day for every contemplation of a future relationship. So when you meet with those people, it's not your fault that you can't love them. Sincerely, it's not your fault that with everything that you are doing, they are not feeling loved. It's not your fault that you keep trying, and the only time they get to speak up is when they have a critique about what you didn't do well. But everything else that you do well, they will never applaud, they will never validate, they will never appreciate. It's not your fault. Such a person is a closed up person. I don't want to sort of denigrate that closed up person, but I want to say all closed up persons should confront their yesterday and find out where they got shut down and lift the lead. The person that shut you down has left. For some people, it's a case of I dated him for 5.5 years. Then after seeing my parents, then he now broke my heart. And then ever since, you have remained at that spot. The person that broke your heart has left. They've moved on to somebody else. You continuing with this sentiment creates double jeopardy. They hurt you the first time, wounded you terribly, but now you have given them the control of your present and your future. And they are continuing to manipulate, your life in such a manner that you are loveless in your existence. Why? That person hurt me. That person, did me so bad, I can't get over it. I can't even imagine that he or she did such to me. But the key is this, that if the person that hurt you is in your past, let that event also go into your past by the deliberate act of forgiveness. Just decide to forgive them and let them go. Don't wait for them to come and apologize. Don't wait for the seasons to change or for the circumstances to flip over. Just let them go and forgive them completely. Number two, you got to understand that they will try to turn it on you and tell you that you are the one who is incapable of loving them. They will try to turn it on you and tell you that you are the one who is not getting it right. They'll try to turn it on you by always heaping curses, abuses, and all sorts of, reducing, comments on you. And they'll tell you, you are the one who doesn't know how to love me. So do you call yourself a wife? Also, you're also calling yourself a husband. So if they say husbands should get up now, you will also get up. They will use the word of their mouth to continue to reduce you, and they'll keep turning it on you as though you are the one who is doing something wrong. But I need you to understand, if you have ever loved anybody and they said thank you, if you have ever been amongst others and they said they wish for your company, if you have ever overheard that two persons were discussing you and the one said to the other that, anybody who marries that brother is going to be blessed. Anybody who gets to marry that sister is going to be blessed. If the person you are now with is not showing the same appreciation, he is a closed person. The issue is not you. Therefore, number three, as I begin to round up, recognize their limitation and don't make it personal. If you're already married and he's not physically abusive and you're not going to divorce him, you just need to recognize that this is one of those persons that Pastor Ken was talking about. He can't really love. It's not me that he is fighting. He's fighting his mom. Kalabosha Kayanda. I heard of a beauty queen. She won the beauty crown in her university days, and yet, she was still attempting suicide here and there. And so people began to wonder, how can you, a beauty queen, be contemplating suicide? When investigations were made, as a little girl, less than 6, her mother called her ugly. You thing. And that has stayed with her, even with the crown of beauty amongst her peers placed on her head. The negative comments of her mother have still not left her. And because her mother has not come up to appreciate her, she's still doing everything to win her mother's love and respect. And without that love, the crown on her head matters so little. And she keeps contemplating suicide. Please hear me. Hear me. When you are with a closed up person, you've got to say to yourself, this is not personal. I'm doing my best for you. If you can't see it, it's not my fault. I'm not going to accept your comments as the truth. I would search my conscience to know if I'm doing the best by you. And if I'm doing the best by you and you can't seem to see it, and you don't want to go for counsel, you don't want to get help, you don't think you owe me anything despite everything that I'm doing for you, then it's not my fault. I'm just going to take it to be that you are the revelation of one of those persons that has been closed up. And once you take that step, you may try to help them, but you should never put yourself down because of their opinion. Don't allow low self-esteem to creep in on you because of their opinion. Don't see yourself in an era of mistakes and then you begin to say, I guess he was correct. No. I guess she was correct, after all. No, he wasn't correct. She wasn't correct. You are created in the image and the likeness of God. You are not meant for everybody. And if this is one of those persons that has a closed life and a closed heart that cannot receive love and they can't give love, give your best to them and leave the rest to God. I rest my case.
Wow. So loaded. Wow, that's awesome. I know I was jotting down some things while you were speaking. Look for your type and your size. Number one, look for your type and your
And go for your size.
For everybody. Look, don't go and carry over a size. I don't go and carry the one that will not fulfill you. You'll not be bellyful before you say you want to carry 2, 3. You not enter well. Look for your type and your size. Also, I know this with a lot of young or my generation. They always like, oh, I need closure, especially when the relationship does not work. I need closure before I can move on, or when they're in their new relationship, they're not able to function properly because they're still needing that closure from the past relationship. So what you're pretty much saying is don't wait for no closure. Just keep living your best
Let
life.
him go.
Let it go. Let it go. And a lot of people will try to do a reverse psychology, play down on you. Don't just realize that they have an inability and you should not take it personal. If you can help them, you help. If you can't, well, if they're going to pull you down and drown you, take a step back and help from far. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ade.
Oh, okay. Our pharmacist in the house, please download to us. We're here.
Yeah. In fact, he has said a lot of things that I had in my mind. I'm coming another direction. The direction I want to take it is, when you are in a relationship, there are some warning signs, and like, if you are in a relationship, don't go in the relationship to say that you are going to change this person. Don't go in the relationship to say, oh, I can see this brother, he's not doing well. He doesn't look as if he really loves me. His behavior, I don't like it. But because of age, people want me to marry. Because of the circumstances around me, let me go into the relationship. When I got into the relationship, I'm going to change him. I will make him to my taste. He will not be who I want it to be. So my what I'm going to say is that don't go into a relationship with the mind to change your spouse. So if you are going into a relationship, study the person. That is why there's a period of courtship.
Mhm.
Study the person and know, convince yourself that, okay, this is the person that that I'm going to get married to. If you see a lot of things that you do not, your spirit do not agree with, you don't agree with these things, but you are just say, oh, other people are married, people of my age, they are married, so I need to get married because of what people are saying. Do not go into relationship because of that. Go into that relationship because you can see that both of you love each other, the person appreciates you, just like our reverend said, the wife is a penguin. So it's the person that loves you that when you see, you have that butterfly. You understand? Like when my husband and myself initially started, my husband will leave home. At that time, there was no in Benin. At that time, there used to be tap water. Like you go to a place where you can fetch water. There you can actually fetch water from the tap, but not like now that everything is borehole, borehole, borehole. That time you go to the tap and fetch water. So there are times that your tap in the house will not be leaking. I mean, will not be running. My husband will take jerry cans of a lot of jerry cans just so that he can come and see me, because where I am there's water. And then he will fetch water like 20 liters of jerry can. He will fetch like 20 of them, and then we start pouring them away just
Ah.
so he can spend time with me, because he enjoys spending time with me. I said, but why are you doing this? He said, if he gets full on time, and then I'll go out. And so you start pouring, we have to fill it over and over again. I would start laughing, say, this is really interesting. This is what love is all about. So he can't do, in fact, at the point in time, even my parents, they'll say, oh no, she's so young, she has studies, she has this to do, she has this to do. There was a time that they said that this is secret. You should leave me alone, let me face my studies. They will not send the sister. you know he will write so many love letters, and I was even so young that I didn't even know where to hide it. I'll put the love letters under my pillow, everybody will be
Oh.
reading. That time there was no cell phone, there was
Mhm.
no, so it was love letters. So you will send the sister, how is missing me. I said, but we just saw yesterday. You say yes, but when I go to, I still started thinking about you, like that. So you should be with somebody that loves you, that appreciates you, that wants to be with you. Somebody who brings out the best in you. you know I'm just giving some examples. Like, first of all, I studied Bachelor of Science in zoology. After I graduated, I got married. Then we had our first child. And then I was working as a teacher. After teaching for so years, I saw my friends that I felt I was more intelligent than they are pharmacists, that they were earning more money. That time as a teacher, I was having 5,000 naira.
Wow.
So I told my husband I wanted to go back to school to study pharmacy. And he said, if that is what you wish, I will support you. And
Mm.
then we had our first child. He was a lecturer at University of Benin. He said, whatever it takes, I will support you to make your dream come true.
Mm.
Even because himself, is a lecturer. He was a lecturer in computer science. And then he had a friend who was a lecturer in the department of pharmacy. He said, this is my wife. I want her to, she said she wants to study pharmacy, and I want to do everything to support her. The lecturer started laughing. He said, I know your wife now. When she was in zoology, she likes fashion. People
Oh,
that like fashion like that, I'm not sure they can study pharmacy. Is too hard.
wow.
My husband said, I know my wife and I believe in her. Whatever
Mm.
it takes, I will support her to achieve her dream.
Mhm.
So you have that kind of person that will support you. I'm not saying he's perfect. We are all human beings. But like education wise, my husband stood beside me. You understand? He
Mm.
stood to make sure that, yes, this is my dream. This is the dream of my wife. I will help her to achieve it.
Mm.
So when you are talking about spouse, you have somebody that who wants to discourage your dream, because husband and wife should build together. The man should support the woman, and the woman should support the man. In that case, both of you will have a good relationship. Because these days you see a lot of things. You see a lot of problems. I even hear, because here in Ghana, you see that people, husband jealous their wife and vice versa. It ought not to be so. It is one home. They're supposed to build together, and you're supposed to encourage each other, So when I say warning signs, when you have somebody that, does not support your dream, you can see that is envious of you, and you are in a relationship, I think you should run.
Hmm.
I think you should run. Don't think that when you enter the marriage, you will change it to like you. I will not encourage you for any reason to do that. Like, we know that marriage is not a bed of roses. Of course, there are misunderstandings and all that. We quarrel, we settle, and we move ahead. That is part of it all. But, and forgiveness too. You have to learn to forgive each other. If you cannot forgive, you shouldn't even think of getting married, because there's no such thing as a perfect human being.
Hmm.
There's no such thing. And don't go to the marriage that you've seen his fault and say, when I get there, I'm going to change him. I will stop for there for now. Then we'll continue.
Amen. Well,
Well said. Well said. So let me just recap a little bit. Red flags. Red flags. While you're studying the individual, while you're in courtship, look out for the red flags. And don't say, if you know it's something you cannot handle while you're courting, don't say, oh, when we get married, I'm going to change the person. It's not going to work, because most times, in my little knowledge, courtship is like one of the best times. And when you get into it, all that attention kind of declines. So ain't going to change for you. She's not going to change for you. Don't go in there trying to say, oh, I'm going to change the person. If you see the red flags, pick up your shoes and run. And also, supportive spouse. You want to be with someone that you can see, right, even before you get married, that they're very supportive of your career, or the supportive of what you're doing, your business. That's just supportive of making you a better you. So if you're not seeing that, then that is definitely a red flag. And you mentioned love letters. Nowadays we don't even know what that is. Because we don't experience it. Right now everything is on Twitter, everything is Facebook, Instagram, your phone. Like, we don't have that. So is there something that you think can be of a what word should I use, that can pretty much emulate the love letter, right? That's because it has a vibe of its own. It has this thing it gives you when you're reading, something from that individual that loves you. So how can you have that experience, with this day and age, that we don't have letters, nobody writes them. It's
No, it's cell phone. It's cell phone. They are still love messages on the cell phone. Now it's more easily accessible.
instant.
But then it wasn't accessible. My husband had to send his sister, to come out, because my parents wanted me to study her, especially that. I said, no, 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 no. You are not going anywhere. I said, yeah, but the sister will come, and visit me like my friend. And then when she's going, she will leave that love letter with me to read.
and of course, today we can begin to use the text messages. And sincerely speaking, like my sister has said, when you read those letters, they have the capacity to energize your love life. Till date, after 23 years of being married, I can crop and couch a text message that I know will bring tears to my wife's eyes. And once I've sent it, I just sit back bodaciously, almost like an arrogant little guy. I'm waiting for that response. And the next thing you see is I'm in a meeting. Then you don't see those teary emojis, tears, tears, tears. I say, yeah, I got it. There are times that when it's so deep and so strong, just jump on the phone and call, the video call, like, honey, are you okay? Is anything the matter? Like, no, I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. But is everything all right? Everything is all right. Rome is not on fire. That is a deep parable between the two of us. Whether Rome is on fire. Rome is not on fire. I just want to tell you how I feel. and it carries the same effect every day. And what I think we should learn from that is this: communication is the bloodline of any love relationship. Silence has never cultivated a relationship. Communication, the use of words, say it sincerely. Say it sincerely. You say, no, Pastor, I don't like saying my heart sincerely because I don't want anybody to take undue advantage of me. Love that is real is also vulnerable. You just have to learn to, take that step. Make your, don't be afraid of being vulnerable. Tell that person how you sincerely feel from your heart, so that the interplay of love between you is not just gifts. I know Dr. Gary Chapman wrote a book on the 5 love languages, amongst which you have, words of validations, gifts, quality time and all. But you see, through it all, quality time without words will drop in quality. Through it all, gift alone without words will not carry its true value. Through it all, one common denominator is the use of words to speak your heart to that other person. So even if you have a BMW 5 Series 2022 edition packed out there with a huge red ribbon to say Happy Valentine, still leave that little card. It's amazing that even while that car is running its miles, that card will never lose its value. That's the power of words, and we can keep exchanging such words in text messages today instead of letters. Amen.
Amen. Oh, yes. Wow. Now, let's talk about long distance.
Okay.
How can someone cope, and how do you cope when you are in that long distance, either courtship or marriage? How do you cope?
I'll start with an advice. Starting a relationship from long distance is a bit deceptive, because people put out their best on the social media, put out their best foot. No matter how you do it, they'll put out their best, as long as we are seeing ourselves in photographs and in text messages. However, if you have started a relationship with someone in person and that relationship has depth, that depth is what's going to serve as the root and the foundation to carry the relationship when you are now in 2 different continents. So that your words, thank God for the technology of video calls today, your words that you exchange, your video calls today will only stand, will only weather the storm on the predicate of the size of the foundation that has been laid when the 2 of you were together. That's why I say to people, in the aspect of faith, they tell you, never tolerate fear. Fear tolerated is faith contaminated. When it comes to relationships, I say to people, never tolerate distrust. Mistrust that is tolerated is love corrupted. Where are you, honey? Can you turn the video camera around so that I can see where you are? Mistrust has already started. And the moment mistrust is allowed to fester in the heart, all sorts of negative suggestions are going to come from the enemy's camp. The day you call at a normal time, when you used to call and they'll pick your call, if you call and they decline your call, it will take an angel from heaven to explain them to you why they didn't pick your call at that particular time. But when there is trust and a strong and solid foundation had been laid when the 2 of you were together in person, you will learn to take them at their words. You will learn to continue to hold them in trust until that trust is breached, not by suspicion, but by incontrovertible evidences. Until that, I'll share this with you. Sometime when I'm driving, my wife and I were on a video call, chatting, and I tell her, I'll minimize the photo so you see me well, I can't see you well, but let's enjoy the gist. I'm not sure why my car does that. Sometimes the Google Assistant, without me touching the mic to ask for her assistance, she just comes up and she starts talking. And so here we are on a video call, and then she comes up. What did you say you wanted?
Oh no. Like, who is that? Who is that? I hear a woman's voice. Who is that?
But my wife is used to me and that Google assistant quarreling. So she says, "Is that your side chick talking again?" I said, "Yes, how did you know?" She said, "Did you touch it?" I said, "I didn't touch it. My two hands
Wow.
are not necessary." So then she goes, "What did you say you want?" you know,
Can you imagine?
you know. But you see, if you don't trust yourselves, that
Mhm.
alone is
Yeah.
sufficient to initiate either a silent probe or open aggressive confrontation. Who is that? Turn the camera around. I want to see everybody in that car. Whatever, whatever. But hey, who was that? I said, it's the Google Assistant. Every now and then she has come up to say other things before. But this time
Mhm.
she said, what is it you said you want? Shut up.
Dangerous.
So it's so important. Distant relationships are sustained on the strength of trust and the foundation that had been laid when the two parties were together. And lastly, the further you are apart, the more you should talk very often. Very often. I'm in Canada, 6 hours behind the time in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I stay up till 1 a.m. every morning so that I can chat with my wife when she's about to go for her walk or about to go for school run. That's my sacrifice. I must do that before I eventually sign off. Make sure you talk every day. Make sure you talk very often. That morning talk, we must have it before she drives out of the house. Later in the day, we're going to get to talk, but that morning talk and all of that, it's a routine. It's like a regimentation that has helped us since I got here. Trust foundation while you are together, trust element, and talk as often as you can.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Rosemary, do you have any additions to that?
Yeah, like you said, trust is very important in a relationship, because without trust, I don't even know how the relationship, will survive. Like my husband, I said, was a lecturer in University of Benin, with all those fine, fine girls that would be wearing a nude skirt and all that around him, and I'm just myself. I never one day suspected that he will be in a relationship with those girls. That was just not my business. I know my husband loves me. Even when I see him with all, I don't, my mind doesn't go that way at all.
Hallelujah.
I
Hallelujah.
just trust him. You understand? I just trust him. Because first of all, if you don't trust your spouse, you are hurting yourself.
That's true.
You are hurting your own self, because the devil will give you work. You start to imagine vain things. You start to see things that are not really happening. Because that's the work the devil will do. It will give you vain imagination of things that are not there. So the best thing is that just trust your spouse, believe whatever it tells you. It is also for your own good. It will make you happy in your own relationship. It will give you peace of mind, and it will also give your spouse peace of mind. You understand? And for me and my husband, that is one thing that has helped us in this relationship. While we were while we were cutting, there were some guests in my presence. They will go close to my husband, hug him, and purposely be looking for my trouble, as if, what would she say? Then I was just his girlfriend, and he was my boyfriend. I don't mind. I would just tell him, I say, well, even there are times that my husband called me and say, why didn't you talk? I said, for me, it's your business. I trust you and I love you. But if you chose to do otherwise, there's nothing I can do. You understand? There's nothing I can do. So I decided to protect my own heart.
Mm.
Mm,
Understand? By loving my husband and by trusting him. So if he decided that he wanted to do any other thing, that he will have with his conscience.
Mm.
You understand? That will not be my headache. And that is the way I've survived. And it has really helped me, throughout. Like I said, that this year, with 40 years relationship, and 30 years of marriage. And for my husband and myself, we were actually apart for 17 years
Ah,
before we did our reunion again. That
wow.
one is another story for another day. So when you talk about long distance relationship,
Hey. That's experience.
long distance relationship,
Mhm.
I have a big experience on that. But the thing
Amen.
is, there has to be trust. That one, that one, because people will come, people will lie, people will say, "Oh, I saw your wife with so so and so person. The way your wife was dressed today, blah 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 blah." My husband will say, "I know my wife. Thank you." You understand? For me, I don't even entertain such things.
Mm.
I don't. That is your business. Whichever way you saw my husband, the way
Mhm.
that is just your own business.
Oh,
It's my husband, you
Mm.
know, and don't try to tell me negative things about him. I don't entertain it for me. So if somebody is coming to gossip, oh, this is what I saw, thank you. Keep it to yourself. This is my husband you are talking about. Thank you. I don't want it. I don't want to hear it. So for me, I don't even entertain it. That
Wow.
is my own way of doing my own things. Some
Mm.
other women will listen and listen and listen, and then when they finish listening, they'll go and start crying.
Mm.
So my husband did this. They said they saw my husband with one woman. They say he did this. They say he did that. Me, I'm not perfect, but like I said, I like to protect my own heart.
Mm.
So for that, I trust him. If he doesn't trust himself, that is not my whole business. But for me, I choose to, not
Yeah.
to bother about all those things. And that is
Wow.
how we have survived.
Well said. Now, how do you know if you're like this is the person? How do you know? Like, how do some people say, oh, you have that butterfly in your belly. Some people say, oh, you dream, or everybody have different ways to reason that this is their spouse. But what would you say? How would you know? Because that's a lot of questions that has been asked. How do you know this is the right person for you?
yeah. Just listening to your question, I remember a particular young man in our university days. I was holding a modular teaching on what you call dating and courtship circles. So he came to see me and said, Brother Ken, I have a question. And I said, what's your question? He said, God usually speaks to me through dreams. But I'm a bit confused. That's why I came to see you. So I said, okay, what's the narrative? He said, yeah, as it were, like Monday, Tuesday last week, I dreamt about Sister so and so, and I was so sure that was God speaking to me. But on Wednesday and Thursday, I now dreamt of this other sister. She's my friend though, but I've never really seen her in that aspect of marriage. But why would God be speaking to me about her now? But my confusion is now yesterday I now dreamt of that other sister again. So it's like 3 days to the first girl and 2 days to the second girl. So which one do you think it is? And I asked him, which one of them do you like? Do you know he was flabbergasted by my question? He goes, what? I said, yes. Which one do you like?
Hmm.
Because in his mind, or according to his own religious belief, he wants to do the will of God. And his own contemplation is that the will of God will have no respect for his own desire, for his likes.
Hmm.
I said, no, brother. The Bible speaking says, whatsoever you desire. So God knows he has given you a free will to be able to explore his creation. What you desire, that is what you should take to prayer. And when you pray, believe that you have what you have desired, not what is imposed on you by some celestial, visitation. He said, actually, that first girl is really the one that I like. And I'm sort of happy that so far in the dream realm, she's having 3 days and that one has 2 days. I said, no, stop the dream story because there is still more time for the enemy to come and confuse you with more dreams. Rather, protect your heart, I said, with your head. Use knowledge to protect your emotions. Use clear, revealed knowledge to protect the flow of your sentiments. God wants you to have a desire. When I talk about my plum wife, I like to say this, that before I got born again, when I was doing my high school in Stockholm, when I wasn't born again, my girlfriends, they were, they were slim, they were tiny, they were disco, whatever, and all of that. By the time I got born again, I said to God, please, hope you know what I'm used to, so that when you are going to give me a girlfriend that I will marry, make sure that you come up and above what I've been used to. I kept praying that prayer, and one day I saw in an issue of Ebony a girl with the physique of what I really have been trying to describe to God. And then I read somewhere that Hezekiah lifted the letter to God. So me, I cut out that girl and I lifted it to God in prayer. I said, Father, if you were not sure of what I was saying, here is the picture. Bring me a replication of this. And like God has a great sense of humor. Without giving the details, I went to preach as a young student in a professor's house. And he said, hold on, let me call my family. He called out his family, and this yellow girl came out. It took a lot of angels for me not to be distracted from my teaching that day. I finished the teaching, and in my heart, I was like, oh, Kennedy, please, don't be carnal. You went there to preach, not to look at a girl. Stop it, stop it. So I got home and I said, oh God, you remember that conversation we've been having and the picture that I showed you? I saw somebody like that, yesterday. So I'm not saying it has to be her, but I'm just saying in case you were looking for, you didn't know where to check, go to the prof's house. Now, as a young born-again university student, I used to be one of those very, very antisocial brothers. I wasn't that sociable. I was always timid, and I was a secluded person, Then one day I hear a knock on my boys' quarter room. Nobody ever comes to visit me. And I open the door. There she is with a little boy, following her. Said that she came to ask me a question. And I'm like, yeah. Then she read so and so in the Bible, so she was wondering. I gave her all the answers. She left. Not quite 2-3 days later, knock on my whatever door. She didn't come with anybody this time. She came to complain. A lecturer in school was blah, 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 blah. Would you pray with me? I said, sure. I prayed with her, and she left. Now I became troubled, and I said, God, Lord, if she is the one, please listen to what I'm saying. If she's the one, let her cook me pounded yam with so and so soup with plenty of meat, and then with bottle of Coca-Cola to wash it down. Not quite 3 days. Knock, knock. I opened the door. The fellow in front of my door is shortish, so I could see the tray on his head. I couldn't see his face. And all I could hear from underneath the tray was, Auntie said, maybe we can't give you this food. And I bring the food in. It's the mussel, pounded yam, it's the soup, and the bottle of Coke.
Wow.
Now, for you to know how pretty this girl is, back then in the permanent site of University of Jos, if you were marching towards the gate and she was coming from the gate side while you were coming from the residences, you think she's an Indian. And she was always so fond of wearing this, how we Hausa girls will dress, cover your head, only your face will show, gold in the hand, yellow face, yellow hands, and all. Long story made short. I ate the meal, and the next time she came to visit, I asked her in. We began to see, but guess what? No peace in my heart. But these are the signs I asked for. I said, okay, maybe it's because I'm afraid that I'll be seen with a girl, whatever. I was a conservative person, Long story made short, after much ado, I just couldn't have a girl visiting me without the situation being defined. So one of those days that she came to see me, I said, all things being equal, I like you and I'm not seeing anybody else. Are you seeing anybody else? He said, no. I said, if by the grace of God all things remain equal, will you marry me in the future? And she says, yes. I did now wait for the bomb. I did wait for the bomb. Now she gives me a hug. She was wearing a silky outfit that was short arm. It was flared from the waist. Okay. She gave me a real hug, face to face. When she was done hugging me, I escorted her home. When I got back to my apartment, I said, Jesus, if that girl hugs me again, I ain't gonna make heaven. I won't make heaven. I am serious. That was the first time ever in my very, very timid and secluded life that somebody will hug me. Not born again. You know, born again hug. You use shoulder to shoulder. Or passion. She gave me the full hug. I felt the whole contour of her body. I said, no, Lord, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So that night I went for my studies. And my study partner, Elizabeth, I said, I have to tell you something, Elizabeth. Something happened in my house, today. And she was like, what is it? I said, so came to see me. Say, yeah. I said, I asked her out. She started screaming at last. Brother Ken, the hermit, has asked somebody out. So what did she say? I said, she said yes. I said, so that's a good thing. Let's celebrate. I said, no, it's not going to work. She was like, why? I said, she gave me a hug. Elizabeth was like, yeah, that's what lovers do. I said, no, Elizabeth, if that girl hugs me a second time, I won't make heaven's list. I won't make it. I won't make it. She said, no, why are you doing this? Give her time. Give her this. That was it. Do you know, if I saw her coming from this way on Faringada Road, I will enter the bush, run the other way. I'm telling you, that's how I ran around for a whole semester. She wouldn't catch me at home. Then the last week of my being in school in Jos, I'd called my parents. I wanted to go call my parents to send me money and all of that. The only place you could access telephones was at the, what's it called? The communications house, AT, is it AT&T, whatever, near the NTA. As I came to the hall, everybody was standing waiting for their turn to make a call. I saw this girl, she was backing me. I could see the fairness of her face, the yellowness of her hair. She did this black calm wood decorations. And I was like, is this an Indian or a Nigerian? This girl, fine. The moment that thing came out of my mind, fine, the girl turns, and it was her. And she's like, Ken, did I do something wrong? I said, yeah, no. I've been busy with exams. I just came here to call my parents. I'm done with my thesis. So I'll have time for you now. How are you? How have you been? How's your sister? By this time, I'm sweating in that whole place. Like, oh God, please let her not hug me. Whatever goes on here, let her not hug me. And thank God she didn't hug me. And I made my call, saw her off, ran back home, and I didn't see her until I left that whole city. By the time I met my wife, this is now two opposite things. The day the senior pastor of the church where I was worshiping was praying with me, he said, Barrister, are you married? I said, no. He said, when I was praying for you, I saw a young woman. She is black. And I looked at him like this. She's short. And she's fat. In my mind, I said, let's just pray and receive it sincerely. When he was done praying, it was my respect for his clergy office that made me to say amen. In my heart, I say it's impossible. Dark, short, and plump, it won't happen. I won't even say good morning to that person. I immediately after that, I forgot that whole prophecy. 6 months into our marriage was when eventually I remembered what Pastor Motosho said. It's amazing. My elder sister, actually my senior cousin, female cousin, she came to the city in Abuja when I relocated to Abuja. I said, Kennedy, let's choose every Thursday to fast. I want to fast and pray with you concerning your spouse. And we kept fasting. If I meet with any girl, I'll tell her, I said, no, let's keep praying. If I meet another person, I say, let's keep praying. One day I said to her, I met this girl in the law school. And then she goes, what's her name? I told her at Nuka, I said, what's her English name? So I'm like, sister, stop this thing. Each time I tell you about a girl, you ask me, what's their name? Let's keep praying. What's their name? Let's keep praying. And then she said, I believe that God told me that your wife's name is Mary. In my mind, I said, spooky sister. Me, I don't do all that spooky. You know, me, I am logic. Only for me to go out with my wife a couple of times as my girlfriend. And one day I said, I know your names to be Atinuke, Moreni Keji, Kike Lomo. Don't you have any English name? She was like, no, I don't want to talk about my English name. It's too ugly. I'm like, what could that be? Said, no, it's Mary. What? I freaked out literally. And she was like, what is it? I said, nothing. Said, no, that didn't look like nothing. You acted like you saw a ghost. I said, I promise you, on our wedding night, ask me and I'll tell you what happened. Why? I didn't want to say it so it would now look like you're marrying me because there was a prophecy. No, I had the peace of God. I had the confirmation of the prophecies. And then when we met, then, like you said, those were the days of letter writing. My practice was in Gariki, Abuja. She was in law school, married then, also in Abuja. I would write a note and give to anybody I see going to law school. And an hour or two later, while I'm still in chambers with my boss, I see a note coming to me. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, she read my note and answered very quickly. Only to open the note and realize that the notes passed themselves on the way. So the things I liked, there were also the things that she liked. And one day I started telling her about this girl I used to like in Jos. And I was telling her, she's so beautiful. And I think God knew what I wanted, what I needed to sustain me. That's why he gave me you. She couldn't believe how pretty she was until one day they were just advertising one of these Nigerian movies and they screamed, honey, come. That's her.
Wow.
And about 11 years into the marriage, she comes to Abuja for her elder brother's 50th birthday. And she runs into me. And then she's like, Ken, I hear that you are married and that you have 2 children, 2 daughters. I said, yes. I said, I've just been worried. I never knew you could impregnate a woman. I never knew you would touch a woman. So, is it that you didn't like me back then? I said, no, I liked you. But my policy as a single person was don't touch until marriage. But I couldn't tell her that because she hugged me, I just knew that fraternity with this one would eventually lead to something before the wedding day. I said to people, don't exaggerate your strength. Know who you are. Don't go to the river if you don't want them to splash water on you. Don't dance around and say, I'm looking for the limit. You will slip into the well before you now realize where the limit is. So what you don't want, run away from it. When you've measured the mile, just add a little bit to that mile. How do you know the person that God has ordained for you to marry? The Noah in you. The sincere, unadulterated person that you are. Not trying to impress anybody. This is just you. This is just who you are. That Noah in you, when it meets with this person, it will resonate. You will come to that place of peace. Not peace of mind that I've been waiting to have a relationship, now I have one. No, real peace that a fight cannot shake away. Real peace that disagreement cannot shake away. Real peace that when everything is all said and done, you check your heart and you realize this is still for me. We may be angry with ourselves right now, but this is for me. And I'm going to bend over, lean a bit backward, make room for that other person, accommodate what they also want in this place. Because no relationship is about what I want. It's about what you want plus what I want equals to what us want. Any relationship that is dominated by what I want, my way or the highway, it will never work. It will. I don't care if you are free as anything or as handsome as Adonis. It can never be about what you want, because I learned this, Sister Rosemary. People stick with you for the value that you bring on them. When you leave anybody's relationship, they can only miss. What they miss is just directly equivalent to what they gained when you were in their life. If they gained nothing with your presence, when you leave, they lose nothing. If they gained much, when you leave, they run after you. They'll run after you. Roses are red and they smell beautiful, but the stalk that holds it has thorns on it. We
Mhm.
manage those thorns and still, yeah, for what we have to smell, for the petals we'll have to see, we'll grapple with the thorns. The same thing, there's nothing good that is perfectly good. Every one of us is a combination of good, bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
But if the good is valuable enough for you to tolerate the not good and bear with the ugly, that's when relationship is born. Amen.
Wow. Amen. That was loaded. Hmm. So Rosemary, you have icing on top.
Oh my God. Well, like he has really said a lot of things, How do you know the, let me have the question. How do you know the right person, right?
Person, yeah. How do you met the right
It's,
person?
it's how will I say it? It's not a straightforward answer.
Mhm.
Mm.
A straightforward answer. And there's no, I will not, I will say there's no, I don't want
Formula.
there's no formula,
Mhm.
to say, okay, this is the formula to know this is the right person. There's no formula like that, because though it differs with each individual. You
Mhm.
see that brother that was having dreams and all that, from what Reverend said, and
Mhm.
eventually said, which one did you like better? That
Mm.
will guide you, because we are human beings, we are not spirits.
Exactly.
We are not spirits. There's that physical, physical attraction, and also physical, interaction, the way you relate with one another. Like when I saw my husband, I didn't even know he was going to be my husband. That I was young, he was tall, slim, fair, in fact they used to call him Uncle Slim. He was so, to me, he was so handsome, you understand. I'm leaking my secret in public.
It's okay. It's allowed. It's
He was
allowed.
so handsome. And in my house where I came from, my uncles, my aunties, they are light in complexion, and to me, my aunties are very beautiful, and my uncles are very handsome, and I like them. Then when I saw this my husband, he just looked like one of my, one
Family
of my
members.
family already, that I like, and I just like him. I like, and apart from the fact that I like him, most of when we were in the same choir anyway in the church, but the first time I met him, I like him as a person, you know, before, and because I knew I like him, I actually used to avoid him.
Mm.
You understand? Yes, I
Mm.
used to avoid him. For what
Mm.
reason? I didn't want to go close to him, but in my mind, I knew I like him because I just saw that's our family, that is like my family in him. You understand? I said, this looks so much like, my 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 uncles, my cousin, it's just like my family. That's as I saw him, I just knew somehow. I said I just needed to be careful. You understand? Because he looked like my family, and my mind accepted him like a family, even though he hasn't spoken to me, nothing, but there was something in my mind. So, and I was avoiding him, even though the other guests, other sisters, they used to be close to him and all that. But somehow he noticed me. You understand? And my husband is much more older than me. So he said, while we were while we were still friends and all that, we got to be friends, with where it was in the midst of a lot of other girls. So he said that there was a sister that sent him a card, and I also sent him a similar card, and it was, this is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. So he said he was confused because two sisters sent him the same, that the card with the same writing on it, that he was confused. He said, but why would this be? But this sister is so young, and this sister is so this, like that. He said he had that in his mind, but somehow he got convinced later that no, it's this sister. That is me. You understand?
Mm.
Then for me, you know, I was so young, and I know I just didn't want to be in a relationship at that time. And again, like my dad always warned me and said, you know, you have to run away from men. That time they'll say, if you go close to men, if they touch you, that
That
is
is
the
it.
end.
Oh yeah.
If they touch you, that's the end. So you don't want to come and disgrace and bring disgrace to the family. And again, I'm the first child. I didn't want to bring disgrace to my family. You understand? So I did not want anybody to touch me, because if you touch me, that is the end. I would
Wow.
but in my mind, the very first time, it's not like everybody that will have that feeling. That's why I said it differs for everybody. You understand? So by the time, eventually, like, I was trying to avoid and run and all that, but he wouldn't let go. You understand? He wouldn't let go. So after much persuasion and all that, I had to say yes. So it differs for everybody.
Everyone.
So
Wonderful.
there's no formula. And
Wonderful.
like you said, you know, let everyone be fully persuaded. You understand? Be persuaded. You understand that you be convinced, convinced that you like this man. He likes you, and then you people want to be with each other. Because
Mm.
each time I was with that's I was with him, I was always happy. You understand?
Mm.
But then I will not say that we were not having misunderstandings. Oh, we had misunderstandings. We have misunderstanding, and then we also settle our misunderstanding. So that is the way, it has always been. And he had my interest so much right from when we were cutting, because I had in mind that, okay, my daddy had so much influence on me, when I was growing up. And there was even a time that he was even jealous of my dad. He said, every time my daddy, I said, yeah, my daddy said, if a man touch you, that's the end. Oh. If
Daddy's
a
girl.
man does this, I used to, in fact, there was a day where I say, you say, you are this your daddy. I said, yes. So, and my daddy said, because you are my first daughter,
Mhm.
so I want you to give a good example to the others. So my daddy put so much pressure on me. You
Mm,
understand? And then I liked, I knew that I didn't like mathematics, for instance. Himself was a electrical engineer,
mm,
and he was very good in mathematics and physics. And I knew that he would be able to help me in that area too, and he was willing to help me. You understand? So it depends, it differs with everybody, but at least somebody cares about you,
Mhm.
and also want the best for you. So you also want the best for the person. That is the way I will say my
Wow.
own.
Thank you so much. We're
Yeah.
coming towards the end, but now what do we have to say to those who are single and searching? What can they be doing? What should they be doing? Instead
mm.
of lamenting and crying and say, when is my turn? Oh, where are you guys finding this love? Oh, and all those things. What can they be doing while single?
Mm. Well, the Holy Bible, in advising us on social matters, says, "He that wants friends must first of all show himself or herself to be friendly." If we wait for friendships to come to us, we'll be trapped in a cocoon. Sometimes what was initially built for safety will now become a prison. So my advocacy will be that determine to make friends. determined to always seek to be understood. It's imperative because sometimes you leave people with the wrong impressions, and whatever could have potentially happened between the two of you will be killed from the very get-go before anything germinated. You know, and Ade, if you don't mind, something happened between us the day we're planning this event. You know, we had agreed to a time, then a moment later, you changed the time. Now, the kind of a person that I am, part of my shortcoming is that I am super sensitive to respect and no respect. You know, so I'm just like, who is this person that I don't know? She has reached out. Now I've said yes. After I've checked what, now she has changed it again. Then the second thing I realized about my shortcoming is that when I type messages, if I'm not playing and cracking jokes, my messages, when they are typed, they are usually read as being too serious. It has happened to me over and over again. Now, I wrote to you to accept the whatever, you know, and I wrote a few other things. Then my mind said, you are doing comma and semicolon. You are punctuating according to how you speak English. Do you know how she is going to read it? She will read it according to how she speaks English. What did I do? I turned to your page and I clicked on the voice call. Hi, let me interact with this person's voice. So what happened? She said, ABC is what happened. I said, fine, we'll do it your way. Do you know, maybe you didn't mean to. There was a sigh that came out of you like, I'm like, wow, Lord, this thing works. I just want a friend right there. You know, I could have left this lady with a horrible impression of what so-called reverend, whatever, the kind of a person that is, because of the typed message. And I've seen it happen over and over again. But the moment I made that call and seek to understand where you are coming from, and I saw it as which is cheaper. You know, let me move the other whatever till later in the night. If it can't happen, hey, there are days when I can't make up, you know, so let me oblige this. The point I'm making is this: don't wait to be found. Go out and make a friend. This world is so lonely. I'm sorry, I enjoy Canada, but the Canadian society has zero tolerance for intrusion. The non-intrusion policy is going to kill people. It's going to isolate them and mutilate them, whether by homicide or whatever, they'll kill themselves. You know, I was sharing this with a doctor who is a friend of mine. I said, she sent me a message that, you know, sorry, Pastor Ken, I've not been punctual with your week, every Sunday meeting. This is what has been my schedule. I said, it's okay. There are days that I thought of calling you to do follow-up as a fellowship member, but the non-intrusion, whatever in this place just held me back. He said, Pastor, this non-intrusion, wow. I wore the back of my jacket to work. I work 7 to 7. In the whole hospital, I met with colleagues. I met with patients. I met with nobody told me I was wearing the back of my jacket until halfway through my working day when I went to use the washroom and I looked at myself in the mirror. That's when I realized I was wearing the back of my outfit. That's how this place is. But God never intended it that way. I'm still one of those few. I go into the elevator and I greet whoever is there. I walk past, and you know, it's amazing. Even people of the same African color, they feel a chagrin when I greet them. Like, why is he, you know, greeting like that? You know, I said, no, I won't let you people take my culture from me. You know, my culture is a greeting culture. We are a friendly people, and the first exchange of friendship is salutation. It costs nothing. Go out. Instead of waiting to be found, go out there, sow the seed of friendship in somebody else's life. The person you befriend today may not be the one you are likely going to marry, but through their network, you will meet with the person that you are likely going to settle down with. That is the key to life. Yeah, that's the key.
Wow. Well said.
And for the brothers, please, for the brothers, if you like the girl, go say hello, please. He said, no, the car she drives intimidates me. Bury your intimidation in your trunk and go say hello to that girl. He said, no, by the way she's dressed, I can see that by her wig, that maybe her salary will be in the 10 figure, whether it's 18 figures. Go to her, because those figures can't replace the presence of a man. Don't kill, don't reject yourself before you stand before a woman. Say hello to her with a big smile. Look for something to compliment, look for something to tease. It works every time. I saw a young man on one of these Instagram videos. He would write on a piece of paper and just walk up to the girl and give the paper to the girl. Some will hesitate before they take it from him, but by the time they take it, he stands aloof and watch them read it. And for some, he would have written, "The brightness of the sun today cannot compare with the smile on your face." That will just boost out, Or you drop a note with that, and then she open it and starts reading, and the note says, "Did you know you are the prettiest girl in the whole world right now?" And then she starts. Everybody is open to a good compliment. Everybody, young and old. If you are not married, the only way you can find somebody to marry is to spend that very, very cheap salutation. Hello. It costs nothing. Then with a smile, give them a compliment. Look for something to tease. Teases reduces the tension in the atmosphere. And please, whatever you do, if they agree to go out with you, don't ask them for a relationship on the first date. That is a malady. I'm telling you, every girl goes to the first date. You can't see them, but the United Nations keeping force. She has invited them. The military arm of her of the country where she comes, she has invited them. Though you can't see them, there are soldiers in that place that are ready to pounce on you, just watching for one question. Don't give them the privilege. Do everything, say everything, and then when you get up, say, "Have I impressed you today enough to allow me see you again a second time?"
Hey.
Yeah, Calabashan. Yeah. Are you telling me that after all this, all you want is that you might see me a second time? By the grace of God, you see me 10 times, 4th time, 5th time, 6th time.
You say like that, yeah.
I'm telling you. Then another piece of scripture says, "A man's gift, it maketh room for him and brings it before either great men or great women." I say to people, when you like a girl, you don't have to have much. But from the little that you have, take a gift with you. Take a gift. Because see, whatever you're doing, your body language is suggesting to her that if your parents have been taking care of you, wherever they stop, I want to take over. If you've been taking care of yourself, I want you to stop taking care of yourself. I'm going to take over now. Take a gift with you. Gifts, they speak volume. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be big, but take something with you that when you have said goodbye and you've left the scene, let there be an ambassador representing your interest.
Nice one.
Valentine is coming, so guys, let's get this thing cooking.
Wow, well said, Mrs. Rosemary.
You see that we are already celebrating Valentine. Coincidentally, you also wearing red.
Oh yes, I have to
talk about it though. We're just well coordinated in the spirit. Yes.
Valentine is here. In fact, Reverend has said it all, actually, because I agree with almost everything he has said. Because he who wants a friend must show himself to be friendly. That summarizes it all. You understand? Because you will see a sister, you say, "Oh, I'm waiting on the Lord. I'm waiting on the Lord," and you don't mingle with anybody. You are your own. How will they see you? We God now, break your door and bring somebody to come and see you. You have to be outgoing. You have to network. People have to see you. Let your light so shine. The Bible says, "Let your light so shine that they will see the good works in you and glorify God that is in heaven." You have to let your light shine. You have to shine. Let people see you. Let people see you. Like for me, I had the opportunity to work, in Namibia for 12 years when I was in Nigeria. They were desperately looking for pharmacists to go and work, outside the country. At that time, it was during HIV and AIDS epidemic in Southern Africa. So they practically, that is the USAID, they were looking for pharmacists, doctors, nurses everywhere like that. I didn't even know what it was to leave, our country at that time. But then they took me with all expensive paid trip to leave the country to go and work, as a pharmacist in Namibia. And then when I was there, I used to mingle with people, and I'm a very humble person despite all my degrees and all that. This is the way I was brought up, and unless I tell you about my qualification, you will not even know, because I mingle. I mingle with people, and they started saying, they say, once pharmacist Rosemary comes in, the atmosphere changes. Everybody's happy, everybody's smiling. So what I'm trying to say is, mingle with people, let them see you, show your good work, let people even speak for you. They can recommend you. You understand? They can even recommend you, say, have you seen that sister? Have you seen that brother? Those qualities. Because these days, like especially like in Canada, they ask for recommendation too much. Give me first recommendation, second references, and all that. People even recommend people in relationship.
Yeah.
You understand? And how? When somebody see that, oh, in church, oh, this sister is like this sister is like that. Though when I came to Canada, it's a very different environment for what I'm used to. Like I spent 12 years in Namibia. We used to mingle with people, relate with people. And in Nigeria, it was the same. In Nigeria, it's even different, because Nigeria, there are people everywhere. But here, in Canada, with the snow, the snow will hide you. You will cover yourself. Nobody will see you. So any opportunity that you see to network. You understand? There are
Sorry, Sister Rosemary, and I think that we, the blacks, this is also the Black History Month.
Yes.
We should endeavor not to drown our culture of friendship and togetherness because we are here. It's a bit of a challenge for me. If I greet a non-African and they don't answer or they pull away, I don't mind. But when I greet somebody of the same African race and they act the same, I'm like, wow, have you lost yourself so quickly? Let me tell you, respect is the one word that is the synonym for love in a man's dictionary. The one word that qualifies love is called respect or honor. The one word for a woman when it comes to love is security. For the African woman in diaspora, don't forsake your love culture because you are in North America. It will make way for you. I'm telling you, every African man in diaspora is hoping that you'll find somebody that still has a bit of home left, so that they don't have to go home to go and marry somebody that they'll have to bring back here and then orientate and do all of those whatever. Because sometimes the backlash is worse when you bring the one from home and they get here and suddenly everything goes bad. But the ones who are here and they are aging, I mean, time doesn't wait for anyone. With respect, you can win a man's attention. With respect, listen, we all have to cook and take care of our basic chores at home. But guess what? As I advocate that the man should go with a gift, what if, my sister, the day you are going to visit that man, you make a little soup, freeze it up in a butter cup, and put it in a nylon bag. And then when you get there, you're about to, I just brought this for you. No, you didn't have to. Yeah, I know I didn't. I just wanted you to have some of this. When he's warming up that soup, he will hear voices from inside saying, this is the way that you should talk. When it's not asking, Lord, is this shit that is to come or shall we wait for another? You will have visions of the night. What we have, the technology of this North or Western world, is good to transfer it to the third world in Africa. But the culture that we have of friendship that we have in Africa, we should try to bring it to the West. It's
Mm,
called the silent hospitality spirit. We shouldn't drop it. It's a gift that we have. It
mm,
helps us network. It helps us go the extra mile for one another. And the moment I say to people, any man you wife will settle with you. If you wait to wife him after signing the dotted paper, you will wait for a long time. But if you wife him, you will sign the dotted paper. So the question is, how do you wife a man? For
mhm.
every contract, there are KPIs, key performance indicators. There are keys to wifing a man. That is when Ade sets up another program for us to discuss that one.
I
Amen.
will definitely will, because it's non-stop. It's a going and going and going. So we are definitely going to have a part two. That is definitely it's a must. We have to have a part two. If not, we can go on for the rest of the night. But I'm going to leave a lot of the questions till our part two. But
Okay.
um, do you guys have any last words before we end it for the evening?
Okay. Maybe my sister should go first this time. She gave me the honor of going first at the beginning.
Oh yes.
And for me, I would say that do not look for a perfect man or a perfect woman. There's no such thing as a perfect man or a perfect woman, you know, because like in marriage, you really get to know each other very well. Like I said, in marriage, you have to forgive and forgive and forgive each other, you know. So even while you are courting and then you step on each other's toes, let forgiveness be your watchword. That's what I want to leave with.
Well
Thank you so much, Sister Rosemary. It's really nice sharing this platform with you. And Sister Ade, thank you for hosting us. My last words will be taken from the very core of what I've said to us earlier. If you meet with people that are closed up, please don't let them redefine you.
done.
And if you have been closed up in your life, I'm begging of you, find a way to detox the bitterness that shut you down so that you don't continue to punish the people in your present because of the situation from your yesterday. God, I mean, every new day is a new opportunity for you to experience the good life and a good love life. If you will forsake and forget yesterday, you can have a brand new love experience from today. And God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Wow, well said. Thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you so much. How I just want to say how I met the both of you or how we interacted. With Mrs. Rosemary, she has a WhatsApp group called Husband and Wife. Um,
Mm.
so that's the group where, of course, I reached out and we communicated and I introduced her or invited her to be in the program. So if you guys are interested in joining Husband and Wife WhatsApp group, please link up with Mrs. Rosemary. Her handle's on the bottom of the screen. You see her Facebook handle there. Or you can easily just leave a message or comment under this program, and I can reach out to you and give you the link. So, Rosemary Hehima
I hear more.
on Facebook, please. It's in the bottom of the screen. Copy and paste, write it down so you can follow her on Facebook and join the WhatsApp group. It's quite interesting. A lot of postings of different topics. It's interesting. In fact, because I also have a singles group, so a lot of the information I actually get from there, I also posted on that group. And then, of course, how I met our Reverend, our barrister. Was he also does a lot of the online I believe counseling sessions or relationship talks and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, of course, us in our single groups, we definitely need all this awareness and information as much as we do. So I actually have attended one or two of your programs, and then I always like to send the information to my other group so that those who need it also gain knowledge, because that's what we all need. So definitely, if you need any counseling or any sorts of training, prayers, or just you need mentorship in the direction of, I believe, marriage, courtship, and so much more, etc., please reach out to our Reverend Barrister on Instagram. The link is on the bottom. But please, if you guys have your numbers you would like to share, kindly do so that people can reach out to you if they do want to.
Okay, my number is 416 416 That's +1 in Canada.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Four
my
one
number.
six 409. Let's get that again.
416
Okay. And Miss Rosemary? Rosemary?
My number is +1 226 980 5149. You can always send me a text message
Mm.
or WhatsApp message.
Can we get that number again?
+1 226 980 5149. Canada.
+1 226 980
149.
549. So you guys, please, 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 reach out to them. It's a lot of knowledge. It's nonstop. So I am definitely going to be reaching out to you guys again because we're gonna have to do a part two post Valentine conversation because love never ends. It doesn't die. It
Love
keeps living
never ends. Right.
on. So thank you so much. I'm so honored to have the both of you. From now, I am a friend indeed. I will follow you. I will communicate. I will ask questions. I will refer people to you guys. And I'm just so honored to have the both of you on my platform. God bless you guys. Keep doing
Thank
what
you,
you
Ade.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Ade.
so, so much. God
And it's
bless
so
you.
nice
And
to meet you, Reverend Kennedy.
oh, same here, Star Rosemary. Really nice
I think
meeting
the
with
both of you
you.
are you both from Benin?
Yes, we are both from
Okay, what a
Edo State.
coincidence.
I'm from the northern part of Edo, Itzako. But I
Okay.
think she's more from the
I'm
central
from Benin.
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 Yes,
Yeah,
Wow.
those speaking people.
yes, yes, yes. You
That's
know,
beautiful. It's a coincidence. I
both
didn't
of
know that, but
Yeah.
that's lovely. Someone
us.
said, Reverend, what is your web page, please? Do you have a website?
It's Faith and Family Ministries.org.ca. Faith and Family Ministries.ca.
.ca. Okay.
I
So you
also have a
guys,
group of husband and wife matters,
mhm.
on Facebook, apart
Mm.
from WhatsApp group, husband and wife matters.
Oh, I'll check that out.
Okay.
I'll
Husband
check
and Wife
that out.
Matters on
Yeah.
Mm,
Facebook. So
mm,
you guys, please check out, reach out, and we're going to be coming back with part two. Don't worry about it. We're going to be back with part two.
mm. And all the single men that have been inspired tonight that want to meet with Ade, I'm volunteering myself as chief registrar and application receiver, so you can come and apply through me.
Uh,
Uh, because I can see some people writing, and they add me to the singles group.
they will be added to the group. That has nothing to do with me. It has to be
Oh
added to
yeah,
the group to meet their potential spouses. Oh man, but yes, definitely. We'll add you. Don't worry, we'll add you. So thank you so much once again. Have a
thank you,
lovely, lovely evening, lovely weekend, and
thank you.
Monday, Valentine's Day. God bless your spouses. Enjoy.
Amen.
Happy Valentine.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Oh wow, you guys. That was loaded. I'm sure a lot of people did not get to listen or partake from the beginning, but it guess what? You can always rewind, reverse the video and watch it from the beginning. You guys, there's so much juice that was released this evening, and you would not want to miss it. Try and listen to it from the beginning, but we're definitely going to be back with a part two because it was not just enjoyable conversation, but it was so much knowledge, educate like so educated, and not just book wise though. Like a lot of people like to tell you in the book of so this, or in the Bible verses of this and that, but real life experiences, because that's what we, most of us, especially in this generation, that we want to hear what's going on in real life, in reality. How do you handle this, or how do you do this? So well, I'm going to work on part two of this. I want you guys, if you have questions that you would love them to answer, please send them to me Don't forget, follow me on Instagram, Addy_babes, or just send me a message on Facebook. I'll leave a message on the bottom of this on Facebook, and or we actually Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. So leave a message so that we can have your questions ready for the next part. And then also just I can give you the information, direct information if you haven't gotten it, for you to reach out to them on your own. If you, of course, you have private matters you would like to discuss or you need counseling for. So once again, if you want to join my singles group, actually is for those who are in diaspora. So if you're outside of the continent of Africa, I'm sorry, that's those who belong in the singles group of I. But anyone can belong in the group of the husband and wife matters. But thank you guys so much. Don't forget again, your host, Ade Tila Dende. Follow me on Ade_babes on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, Adibasi TV on YouTube, and say hello to me on Facebook. Why not? All right, guys. Thank you. Have a lovely, lovely night. It's been a long night today, but we thank God. All right. See you.